And good afternoon. I'm Kevin Appleby, student meteorologist with the Campus Weather Service, providing an update on the incoming storm system set to impact travel across Pennsylvania on Thursday and into Friday. And I know that's a big travel time. There's been final exams this week, so it's certainly going to produce some headaches for those of you trying to depart from University Park and some of the other Penn State campuses as we go over the course of the next 48 hours or so. Live look outside as of around 3:45 here at the Hub Robeson Center. You could see some high clouds not necessarily being detected and picked up by the sensors there, they struggle to pick up those higher clouds that are ahead of the storm system right now, currently in the central United States. But we do have cold air in place, 32 degrees right now, and pretty good visibility and calm winds, but expecting these temperatures to remain very marginal as we go through the event. It's a very close call. Seeing some virga that's beginning to just disintegrate down there in southwestern Pennsylvania. Storm system still well west of our area. Otherwise, it's been increasing clouds as the name of the game for the day today. Now, expanding the view further, low pressure centered right now near the Dakotas and into southwestern Minneapolis. You can see the counterclockwise spin there. Some blizzard-like conditions due to a tight pressure gradient up in the Dakotas. And the cold front expanding all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, where we've seen an outbreak of severe weather down there. Now, no severe weather for us, of course, but southerly winds ahead of the front are going to continue to pull some Gulf moisture towards Pennsylvania over the course of the next day or so. We're also going to see this low transfer some of its energy off the coast, and we'll see another low develop off the coast and move towards the New York City metro area. Now, where this low develops ultimately determines where the heaviest precipitation rates and more robust snowfall rates actually do end up setting up, and we'll have more on that in just a moment. But for now, we've seen an upgrade now, as just recently, in northeastern Pennsylvania to a winter storm warning. That's in the pink shading. It's not explicitly written out on the map, but it is in these pink counties over towards the Poconos and up towards essentially the Binghamton area in New York. Otherwise, winter storm watches, which will later be upgraded to winter storm warnings in this blue shading. Winter weather advisories in the purple from Bradford over towards Erie, a little bit further south from there. And then we get over towards southeastern Pennsylvania, portions of eastern Pennsylvania as well, also in that purple shading indicating winter weather advisories. But also, most notably, in the Laurel Highlands region, ice storm warnings where we're expecting between a quarter to a half an inch of ice and freezing rain. So that's going to make for a travel headache, and for them it's going to be more of a Thursday morning to afternoon type of deal than the rest of the state. So timing it out for you, by about 4 o'clock in the morning, precipitation knocking on State College's door. This particular model, the graph model, picking up on some mixed precipitation. There will be some warm air aloft that this system's going to encounter, and as a result, it likely starts as a mix. Some freezing rain in the Laurel Highlands. Can't rule out some freezing rain in other areas, but I think the overwhelming precipitation type is going to be sleet in the lower elevations. Moving along further, the colder air is going to start to win the battle aloft, and so we'll likely see a transition over to some snow, maybe with the exception being those Laurel Highlands. Generally rain as you get west of the Allegheny front and into southeastern Pennsylvania. But again, because the sun angle is not much of a factor this time of year, we're talking 1:30 in the afternoon, and the colder air is winning. Again, this sun angle just pretty much a non-factor, being at the lowest point that it is in terms of the entire year. That is more of an issue we face with this type of setup in like April. Nevertheless, moderate to heavy snows, especially in northern and northeastern Pennsylvania, and that'll continue through the evening hours. It looks like the Thursday evening commute could be a nightmare for a lot of Pennsylvania, and for those trying to travel away from State College or other Penn State campuses might want to reconsider plans if they haven't already. Getting into Friday morning here, this is very late Thursday night, around midnight. Precipitation starts to become a little bit more broken as the low pressure system develops offshore. It begins to move away from the area, but it does bring in some warmer air, and so I think a transition to rainfall is likely for much of southeastern Pennsylvania, just a few scattered showers out west. Again, most of the moisture with this storm is going to be the eastern 2/3 of Pennsylvania. But even further along by Friday morning, we start to see a few bands still setting up on the back end of this storm system in parts of north central and northeastern Pennsylvania, which is where we're expecting some of the highest snow totals to occur. Things begin to settle down Friday afternoon, just a few lingering snow showers in northeastern Pennsylvania. But westerly breezes kick in. We start to see the activation of the lake effect snow machine. So western Pennsylvania, which avoided a lot of the worst of the weather from this system, likely going to see some snow showers, maybe even some embedded snow squalls by the time we get to late Friday night and into the day on Saturday. So in terms of snow accumulation, expecting a general 1 to 3 inches in southern Pennsylvania, expanding a little bit northeast from there over towards the Allentown area, and expanding northward up to Bradford and parts of the Laurel Highlands. And then we work our way a little bit further north and east. That's where you see this darker blue shading through much of Center County, a little bit north of there, and expanding eastward from there. That's where we're expecting to see about 3 to 6 inches of snow, and in some of the valleys up in northeastern Pennsylvania as well. And then this purple shading up to the north and east, generally north of Williamsport and east from there and down into the Poconos. That's where we're expecting over half a foot of snow, and also could have the best opportunity locally to see a foot of snow from the storm system. So something to watch out for if some of the heavier bands set up over the same areas. It could exceed 10 inches up in that purple region. Otherwise, it just looks like a solid half a foot plus in that region. Now, in terms of precipitation type, we already highlighted the ice risk that is present in the Laurel Highlands. Otherwise, a wintry mix, some snow and sleet in this pink, eventually converting to all rain by the time we get to late Thursday night as warmer air starts to work its way to the region. Up to the north, I think predominantly the main precipitation types will be snow and sleet in this purple shading. However, it could transition to some rainfall, especially in the eastern portions here on the tail end of the storm system. And then up to the north, again, we've mentioned this area is a jackpot zone for some of the highest snowfall, expecting mostly snow, potentially mixing in with some sleet at times, but overwhelmingly expecting mainly snow as you work your way to the northern tier of Pennsylvania. Now for travel impacts, this is probably your biggest concern right now. Expecting major impacts in the Laurel Highlands region thanks to the freezing rain, and that'll be mainly a Thursday issue, especially Thursday morning at the onset of this event. And then we work our way north and east where most of the travel impacts are going to be caused by higher snowfall amounts. And this will be more so, Thursday morning could be dicey, but Thursday evening for this region, the I-80 corridor, I-81 corridor, the I-99 up through US 15 corridor, that is going to be downright treacherous by the time we get to Thursday evening due to some heavy snowfall. As you work your way down to the south, still expecting to see impacts. However, I think the warmer air begins to win out a little bit earlier Thursday evening, and as a result, it looks like by late Thursday, going into Friday, things begin to improve down in the southeastern quadrant of Pennsylvania. But I expect these travel impacts to linger through Friday morning up towards the northern tier of Pennsylvania. So keep that in mind as you're getting through travel plans. If you haven't left State College or some of the other Penn State satellite campuses yet, I would suggest waiting till Friday, as that looks like a better bet. So you just want to take it slow if you have to go out and about on Thursday. But again, I would just suggest not doing so if that's entirely possible. From the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm Kevin Appleby. Have a good one and stay safe.